Morning, global travellers. Today is May the 3rd, and I visited somewhere where I haven't really been before, which is the north part of Karon Beach. I decided to take stills again today because I didn't want to make the place look like a deserted dump, and I find videos actually do that. You wave your camera around and all you end up with is just the grubbiness and the desolation of the place, whereas if you take stills, then you can pick your shots and somehow the whole effect seems to be much nicer. Now obviously these first shots are just from Google Images and free to air. This is the way it was. And from now on, these are mine, and this is the way things are now. Next decision to make. What aspect ratio am I going to use? Most stills cameras take 4:3, and yet the videos that I make are really meant to be viewed on a TV or on a computer screen with an aspect ratio of 16:9. So I've taken the liberty of converting all of my shots to 16:9 aspect ratio. So this is the original, and to me it seems to draw you into the picture so much better when you look at it on a TV or a computer monitor. So here we are at the start of the walk. Let's go. Whatever this thing is in the tree, it always catches my eye, so let's zoom in a bit and see what it really is. Oh, I see. It's a treehouse. I wonder how many people enjoyed sitting up there in the good old days, good old pre-COVID days. This is a roundabout in front of a hotel, and this guy is probably a local hero from history, although I must admit I don't have the faintest idea, but it makes a good photograph. And here is the hotel, and this end of town is really nice. There's no main road running through it. It's completely off one end of the main drag through Karon Beach. And I must admit it looks really nice. I would have loved to have stayed here back in the early days. But as I've said before, I hardly ever came here. Always stayed in Patong. Here's what used to be a little hideaway restaurant. Still got the menu outside. This looks as though it's specialised in Thai food. Now Karon Beach isn't the supreme beach on the island, but it's one of the very nicest, and it's much more upmarket than Patong Beach, where all the nightlife is. Here you get a much more genteel class of vacationer. On this first part of the walk, we're going to end up walking around quite a large lake, which I think used to be a boating lake, and this is the outfall at the far end. And here you can see the lake. Notice with stills, it doesn't matter if there's no people around. In fact, in some ways, it's a lot better. Whereas if I was shooting this on video, then I would just be panning around a desolate moonscape, and everyone would be, including myself, would be really, really miserable. So here's the landing stage. This is where you can see that it used to be a boating lake. Obviously no boats anymore. Hopefully we'll see some one day. And one day when all this is over, I want to come back here and experience it. And all the way on the other side of the lake, where the high wooded ground meets the horizon, that's where that hotel was. So we're on the other side now. From this point on, I proceeded to go on my regular Karon to Qatar beach walk and back again. So you've seen that a number of times. But there's one little bit of note almost at the end of that round walk coming back into Karon Beach, where we see a little temple, and I showed it to you in a previous walk, shot on March the 16th. Things were a little different then. This is what I think is a long disused boating lake, but the locals use this little part as a temple. And this is what it looked like on March the 16th. And this is what the same place looked like today. You probably can't see it, but the water level is now so much higher now that the rainy season has come. Back to March the 16th, and a quick pan around to a view over the beach and see how low the water is. And the same view today. This must have been a really nice canal with boats on back in its heyday. But again, as I've said before, I never saw it. And I've got no memory of it. Shame. Well, that about does it. This demonstrates the validity of documenting your life, I suppose. You can always go and cut back to the way things were. I wish to heaven that I'd have done this more when I was a younger bloke. Just think of all the memories I would have had on video if only I'd have done it in those days. But I never did, because there was no means of editing in those days, and early video camcorders were pretty rubbish. They never produced a file. I'm getting too technical now, I know. You shoot something with a digital camera now, it comes out as a file and you can just edit it straight there and then. But in the old days it came out as video off tape and you couldn't do much with it. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.